Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. Welcome, citizens of Gotham. It's a little after 7 o'clock Pacific time, a little after 10 on the East Coast. We're going to be joined in a second by Ron Placone. We're going to talk about what happened in Miami, but mainly I want to go into other startling news about the rising sea levels, basically flooding most of the Florida Keys and how that's being dealt with. I don't know if this collapse had anything to do with that. I have no idea. There seems to be, as of now, not a lot of information as to what caused this collapse, but I really want to talk about that as well. So please hit the like button, everybody. Share this out on your social media, and then we're gonna talk about that. Maybe a couple other things. We'll answer some questions, and then probably at the end we'll do a round of You Should Know This, since it is Thursday night. And even though we don't have the full game show on tonight, we do it every other week. We don't have a full Anything Can Happen tonight, but we will do a round of You Should Know This. And of course, we are in month 5 of being demonetized by the CIA tube. So I don't know. I have no answers for that. I don't know what to tell you. But it's so you can still support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood. And of course, rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. If you go to Rockfin right now and sign up, you can do the tip feature. I'm going to read a couple of those and we'll answer those throughout the show. Ron and I will answer those. Yeah, I'll read a couple of tips. Kate is our moderator. Kate, how you doing? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I know people are watching on Facebook Live and on Rockfin and on the YouTube. Thank you, citizens of Gotham, for supporting what we do. MHC, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting our show at rockfin.com. Graham, I wasn't able to find the exact video of Cenk praising unions I mentioned in the last stream, but in looking for it, I did find a bunch of others, which I made a compilation video of. If you'd like me to send it to you for potential use in the future show, you can let me know. Yes. Send it to GrahamElwoodShop@gmail.com. Thank you for that, MHC. We appreciate it. Melissa A.H., Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, just saw a report from a local Miami station professor at Miami University who studies the coast, said that the area around the condo has been sinking by 2 millimeters per year since the 90s, and it has been stressing older buildings. Thank you for that, Melissa H. That is very, very helpful. Annalise, what's up, Annalise? Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Annalise is another content creator that you can watch on Rockfin, exclusively on Rockfin, because the CIA tube just flat out deplatformer. Don't want her to get too big. Big lefty, woman of color, going to shut that down real quick. So excited for Graham and Ron to get back on the road. I'm ready to go watch a show. By the way, if you guys enjoy Graham and Ron, please give to the Annalise Show and follow on Rockfin and help us fight back against big tech and censorship. Check out panquake.com. We just had Susie Dawson on the show. So we're trying to get her on the Jimmy Dore show. I talked to Jimmy about it, him and Steph. And so, they're busy. I know Jimmy and Steph are very busy, but getting Susie on all these other media platforms helps with the fundraising. So if there's any other shows that you think Susie should be on, let those shows know, let Susie know, let Annalise know. So go to panquake.com to support that, to support a new social media platform that will revolutionize everything. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Didn't know Annalise had enough power to threaten YouTube. Yes, she does, apparently. Congratulations. You're a threat. What is up, Cat B and everybody else in the chat? How are you? Good to see you. Gina G, what's up? PooTube, haha. All right, let's so let's bring this up here. Let's bring him to the show, ladies and gentlemen. The host of Get Your News On with Ron and a bought and paid for member of the Big Cat Lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Placone.
What's up, Graham? How's it going, buddy?
Good. How come I'm not hearing you in my headphones? What is up?
I don't know. think I'm audible to everybody, unless I'm not.
Let's see.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are there robot dicks in your headphones?
Be having a robot dick. All right, now stop. Now talk.
Hi, Graham. What's
There
up?
it
Buddy?
is.
Oh, I'm here. Oh, good. Good to see everybody.
There it is. What's up? Great. So let Ron, how is everything in your world? I saw online you got on stage for a couple of times now.
Yeah, man. It's stand-up is coming back, and well, I guess it is back, sort of. And so it's been great. Been doing a couple sets, had a show at Flappers a little over a week ago. And yeah, I know you've been getting up some as well. It feels very good, to put it gently.
Yeah, it was I did my first show last week without plexiglass on stage. Which was pretty rad. That was like, oh my God. It was so it's yeah, I'm ready for us to start touring. I'm really ready.
Yeah, and we should have some announcements by the end of the month at the latest. We will have some announcements and some tickets available, and yeah, it's we're getting there.
Yeah, we'll just have them at both of our websites, ronplacone.com and grahamelwood.com. As soon as we get ticket links, we'll just start putting them up. Yeah, what was the thing that stood out to you the most when you the first show you did on stage after however long it's been, a year and a half or whatever?
What was the thing? That's a good question, actually. Geez, let me think about it for a second. What stood out to me the most? Just like the almost, and it's just hard to describe, but like just that sort of intangible yet somehow kind of tangible at the same time force that you feel from an audience. Just that sort of like force of energy that you can literally physically feel it to an extent, even though it's not, it's not really a thing. But just feeling that again and knowing what it was after not having it for like a year and a half, it was incredible, and it just made you instantly remember, oh, this is why I do this. Like, this is why I do everything else, is because, there's no greater feeling than this. Like, when it comes, I mean, there's no greater thing than live performance. Like the only things that, I mean, other than my buddy Ed Hamill, he puts it best. He's like, dude, other than my wife and my kid, he has a kid. I don't have kids, so I can't but other than my wife and my kid, there is nothing like this is it. Like there's nothing greater than this. And, I think that's pretty true. And so, yeah, being able to get back to it was amazing. And I look forward to seeing everyone on the road. Come out to a show. It's Zoom is not the same. Okay, it's just not. It's just not the same. Thank goodness it was there.
Yep.
Because is it a million times better than nothing? Yes. But is it the same? No. It's like live performance is the best Italian home cooked meal you ever had in your freaking life. Zoom shows are SpaghettiOs. Is it better than not food? Yes. It's better than not food. If it's SpaghettiOs or starve, I'm gonna eat freaking SpaghettiOs. But man, that meal, it doesn't compare. Doesn't compare. One is grandma's ravioli. The other is freaking Chef Boyardee. It doesn't compare. Doesn't compare.
Oh, it seems so crazy to think about the first 2 months of the pandemic last year, where we would do, I mean, I was going live 4 or 5 days a week, as were you, for our respective shows. And then doing that Zoom show, we do it every Saturday night. And, it was like, thank God we were doing that. And we got to hear some laughs. And then I just remember then that show would, I'd do it in my bare feet or shorts or whatever. And maybe I'd wear a nice shirt, but then that show would be over and I'd just be like, okay. And then I'd like go get in my car and drive around the empty streets of Los Angeles because no
Just to
one.
feel like, yeah. I mean, that's like I would do something similar. I mean, typically we would do those shows. Then sometimes you and I would just kind of like chat after.
Mhm.
Sometimes not. Like it was almost like a sort of like virtual green room almost.
Right.
And then sometimes I would just sort of have a whiskey and just go on a walk. And this was when I still lived in Pasadena. So in like an empty old town Pasadena, my wife and I would just sort of go for a walk and just be like, all right, this is the world right now. It's something.
Yeah, I would kind of feel like driving just because I'd been in my home usually most of the day. And then I kind of like, well, at least want to have the sensation of like I drove to and from a gig in Hollywood or the Valley or something, just to have that sensation of like leaving my house for a show, even though I would just drive around after we did the Zoom shows. It was bizarre, man. I mean, it was like, and so cool that like we had people, our audience would show up for us every week, and it was good for that. I mean, that was so cool that like everyone that watches our shows like really rallied and they needed it as well. But what a crazy time. And man, I cannot wait to be on. I've already been writing. I've been on stage a fair amount and I've just been writing and, trying to come up with as much new stuff as possible. And I'm excited too, to just whatever's going to happen to us on the road, that'll be able to be made into to material.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just going to pretend like nothing happened. I mean, did you hear comics like some comics have been tweeting that they're like, look, when it's over, don't talk about it. It happens once a century. We've been through it. Don't talk about it. Really? What do you just bounce back like nothing happened? A freaking pandemic happened for a year and a half. You get back on stage and you just go back into autopilot. Hey, dating is hard. Surely I can't be the problem. Really? You're back at it. You're back at it. We're just gonna, that's where, that's what people want.
Hey, anything happen? Anybody this last year? Anything big happen? Any big life events for anybody? Anything? Just like,
I feel like there's nothing new on Netflix. I don't know why.
I've watched so much Netflix. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't know what happened in my life to where I haven't been to a live sporting or concert event. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like,
I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on there.
You can't have a conversation with anybody about anything that doesn't involve at least before the pandemic, I was doing this. And then, when the shutdown happened, we did this. And now we're like, it's in every conversation about anything. Like, you can't just avoid talking about it. Is it going to be both of our?
And what I really hope we all end up saying is, hey, remember before the pandemic where society was a big floating turd, and we're not that anymore. We learned we're not. I mean, that's the hope. And that's not going to happen next week. It doesn't work that way. There's still a cycle that has to really happen here. But hopefully that's the finish line of all this.
Well, if not 4th of July, at least Labor Day, we will have fixed all of society's problems.
By
right?
Labor Day, we freaking nailed this. By Labor Day, there's going to be Joe Biden's just going to go around the country in a hot air balloon, telling everyone it's fine, we got it, and it's going to be powered by air and wind.
He's just going to float around.
He's going to float around.
We got it, everybody.
We fixed it, Fat. Do push-ups.
Listen, Fat. It's all fixed. Just on a hot air balloon hair sniffing tour throughout America, letting everybody know that we fixed it. We fixed it. We got Fat.
We got it.
Well, all right. Let's. I want to talk about. First, let me see if there's any tips to discuss. Annalise show. This is unacceptable. You can't have Big Kale and Big Cat lovers on one show. I call shenanigans. Look, okay. One time I, got on Kale Force One and flew down, to Tahiti for a Kale conference that they paid for. And they gave me a undisclosed amount of money to talk there. I don't think that influences my decision making at all. I mean, this microphone is made from Kale, so I don't know what the problem is.
I don't see any conflicts of interest there. And just let everyone know, look, I'm not going to let Big Cat push everyone around. I'm going to go up to Big Cat and I'm going to say, cut it out, meow. Excuse me. Yeah, no, that was my public position. This is my private one now. I got you. Enjoy your $10,000 dinner. Anyway, Graham, you were saying?
I just think you made some valid points, and it's great. And
Nothing to worry about. We got this.
I think we need to, I gave a speech to the kale lobby where they paid me $250,000, and I said we need to stop this anti-kale attitude. But that doesn't mean I'm on a political level. I'm gonna push that. I just was opinion I had.
You're a private person.
I'm a private person.
Graham, I've written a book about this. We're just private people trying to profit off of anything and everything we can. What's the issue here?
Yeah. Can't we just lie every other sentence and not have a big hassle, thrown at us? Can't we just do that?
It's, we got to get over these purity tests. You want good things. We got to get over these purity tests. And these, these people on Twitter, they're causing havoc. And, get a clipboard. Vote.
Get a clipboard. I think that's the solution that's going to wrap all these problems up come Labor Day, Ron, is just more clipboards. I think that's pretty much it, right?
Well, I'm going to introduce my clipboard for all legislation. We're going to pay for it by taxing poor people. I mean, the 1%. And we're just going to give everyone clipboards. So if they want to run for office, they can just fill out a form. They have a clipboard to fill it out on now. And then they can kind of submit the form, and then that's it. I mean, everything else they're just on their own. I mean, the same rules apply and all that. But you get a clipboard, and a
clipboard in every pot. You know what I mean?
Clipboard in every pot. Clipboard in every pot. And I mean, if you don't take advantage of this opportunity, you're the problem. Quite frankly,
I could not agree more. Thank you. I don't know this paid. Anti-kale, anti-cat troll Annalise. I just can't even. Clearly, she's paid to say these things.
She's got to get over these purity tests. How's the weather in Moscow, Annalise?
Yeah, tell Putin we said hi, Annalise.
Yeah, tell Putin we said hello as he's trying to sow chaos.
Yeah, do svidaniya, Annalise. She also. Thank you for supporting our show, Annalise, with clearly Russian money. Thank you, Ron, for inviting me to your Flapper show. I heard it was great. So sorry I couldn't make it with my mom's chemo. And when my mom chemos and is August, I will definitely be free for more live shows. Can't wait to hang out in person. Yes, that will
Appreciate that. And best wishes to mom. I hope she makes a full and quick recovery.
Yeah, show Annalise some love. Tom Hensley, what's up, brother? Haven't seen you in forever. Hope everything's well. Shave your knuckles for justice, Tom. That's fantastic. Good to hear from you. Melissa H, shave your knuckles for justice. Can't wait for you guys to get ongoing your COVID-19 comedy recovery tour. Possibly won't see you until 2022, but when you're in Burlington, Vermont, I'll be there. Yeah, Melissa, I don't know that we're going to be able to get up there this tour, but we will be in New York City if you can make it down for that, or DC. I'm sure at the DC shows, Lee Camp might pop in and do some of his Russian comedy.
His standing up comedy.
And Alicia, Ron, I'll ask my Russian boss and her fake kids. Yes, tell Susie Dawson's fake Russian kids to stop pushing this panquake.com shenanigans, and we should all embrace how great big tech is. I think it's great. Big tech censorship is really fun. We should all
do what they
embrace
can for us.
They do what they can.
They really do. They're looking out, and they, we should continue to give them power they have no business having, and then one side just allows them to have power they have no business having through deregulation, and the other side cheers it on. They cheer it on. Isn't that great? We have two types of elected officials. People that don't understand the internet and people who can't handle the internet, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Those are your two. They either don't know what to do about it or they can't handle it. That's one of the two. And they make laws around this. Isn't that great? They make laws around something they don't freaking understand and can't handle. Isn't that awesome? I wonder, too bad we don't have 70 fucking digital rights groups that they could listen to. Oh, wait, we do have that. We do have that. That's why occasionally you see a politician who actually has a good platform when it comes to these issues, like Bernie Sanders. He had a pretty decent platform when it came to digital rights issues. Why do you think that is? Do you think the 80-year-old Jewish guy from Vermont is super tax savvy? You think Bernie's all over Reddit all the time? No, probably not. He just listened to the right freaking people. It's not hard. It's really not hard.
Oh, God. Yeah, but when you're an elected official in a supposed democracy, you're not supposed to listen to constituents and activist groups, Ron. I mean,
right. They're you get their Twitter account suspended. That's what you do to them. They are undesirables that dedicating their lives to advocacy like a bunch of troublemakers.
Problems.
Clouding our voicemail boxes with their drives and petitions and campaigns that make our lives more difficult.
Oh, wanting us to have like a functioning society for every American, like was promised to us in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Oh, Jesus. These guys.
You know, Gavin Newsom is doing some okay things right now. Like he is doing some okay things. Like he wants to give a bunch of rent relief. He wants to invest billions into our broadband infrastructure. Now, some people would tell you it's because he's scared he's going to lose his job. That's not true. It's because he's a nice guy and he's gotten enough compliments on his hair on Twitter. The worst thing you could do as a citizen is ever hold politicians accountable for anything. That's the worst thing you could ever do. You need to worship them. Oh, we got a new deal because FDR was scared because there was a united working class of communist parties and socialists and anarchists and unions in the working class. So he was afraid. So he did the new deal. Nonsense. It was because everyone complimented his fireside speeches. And then on the weekends, they licked his asshole. Never hold elected officials accountable. Worst thing you can do. USA, let's worship them for doing less. Isn't that interesting? We worship them here, and they do less than in other industrialized countries. I'm not saying other countries don't have their corruption. Of course they freaking do. There is no utopia. But in comparison, holy shit. So let's worship them for doing less. That's great. USA, baby. I love it.
I love it. Yeah, because it's like, don't be too hard on the squad. They're only allies. No,
it's
they
the most
promised
backwards freaking like it's like, yeah, they freaking, even if they are our allies, then let them use us as an excuse. And what I mean by that is let them be like, hey, Nancy Pelosi, I want to concede here. I want to play ball with you, but see my base out there? They ain't going to have it. They ain't going to have my back if I do this. So I can't. You need to concede X and Y if you want me to concede Z, because my base, they're just not going to support me. If you freaking do that, I'll lose my job. I can't lose my job. Let them use you as an excuse if they're such an ally. You know what? You know how they won't be able to do that is if you coddle them nonstop.
It's unreal. When I say this to people, they always go, wow, I hadn't thought of that. I go, you know, Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and Mitch McConnell and the Republican Party in general have never promised me a fucking thing that I wanted. Not once. They've never said, we'll do this that would help my life in one way at all. So I'm not surprised when they continue to be assholes. The squad, the Progressive Caucus, Bernie, Biden, all of them, Kamala, they've all promised me all these amazing things, and then they don't come through with them. And then you get mad at me, vote any blue will do shitheads, when I say, hey, they're not doing the thing they said we will do. You know, when Kamala said during the campaign, this borders are open, and then like a week ago said, don't come here. Yeah, see, I have a problem with that. When Joe Biden increases the ICE,
huh?
What a great sales pitch. And then this is, of course, she says this after Joe Biden has already increased the budget for ICE. He is giving more money to ICE than Donald Trump did. But wait, I thought Trump was the big bad fascist that was clamping down on all of our rights. Like, it's mind-boggling to me.
He is. It's just, you didn't vote fascism out. You just rearranged the furniture. Yes.
Well, now we have nicer, kinder fascism, Ron. Not mean, angry fascism. It's preposterous. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Political Vigilante. I'm here with Ron Placone discussing messed up in our our political system is that nobody, and then when us lefties call out the squad and them for not doing what they said they were going to do, liberals get mad at us, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So how do we deal with this, Ron? I mean, like, we've had to take, what do we do? I mean, obviously, like, a socialist just got elected to the mayor of Buffalo, I believe. Is it?
Yeah, I heard about that. I need to read more about, like, I don't know a whole lot about the person. I just heard, hey, a DSA member got elected mayor. That sounds awesome. Cool. I don't know a whole lot about them, but that sounds awesome. From what I've heard, New York City is not looking as great.
Right.
Yeah, apparently it did not go as great in New York City, which sucks. But
they're going for that cop, right? That ex-cop. That sounds.
I think the cop is leading the way as of right now, which we might have that same thing happen here in Los Angeles. The big one throwing their hat in the ring right now is the representative of my district, actually, Joe Buscano, who is a scumbag and a cop. I guess those two things are synonymous, but he's a scumbag and a cop. And I actually have a new thing now in Twitter. I swear at him in Italian because, he's one of those people where he's just like, I'm a proud Italian American, but I promise you, he doesn't speak a lick of the freaking language. And that pisses me off. It really drives me nuts when politicians do that shit, or anyone else for that matter. So I swear at him in Italian, and go ahead and use Google Translate, fuckface. Do it. But anyway, how do we deal with that? Look, I think people just have, and again, this kind of goes into the whole, like, we make our politicians celebrities, and it's like they say nice things, and people are so used to just having nobody on their side that it's human nature to want to cling to that. I mean, I get it. Of course I want to see elected officials do the right thing. I don't want them to not do the right thing. Like, I want them to do the right thing. But the reality of the situation, and it will always be this way, no matter who the person in office is, no matter if you like them or don't like them, you need to see them for what they are. And what they are is, at best, a tool for change. They're not your friend. They're not really your ally because they're on a different side of the fence than you. Does that mean they have to be your enemy? No, it doesn't mean that. But it means you have to recognize that you occupy a different lane than them. And it is your job to hold them accountable no matter what. And it is your job to not give them a pass all the time. You have to hold them accountable, and you have to realize that they are at best a tool for change. At best, they are a reformer. And if you don't hold them to account, they're not even going to be that reformer, because it'd be a whole lot easier for them. A whole lot easier, no matter who it is, no matter how good you think they are. It'd be a whole lot easier if they just play the game. That's a ticket to Easy Street. They just play the game. They do what the donors want. They're going to have a long career getting paid very, very well. And no matter how good or noble you think people are, guess what? People are freaking human. All right? They're freaking human. And if you give them that ticket to Easy Street, they're going to take it. I don't care what they say on a Twitch stream. I don't care how nice their tweets are. I don't care if they have some good intentions, and I'd like to think some of them do. It doesn't matter. You let them take that ticket to Easy Street, they're going to freaking take it. So you can't let them take that ticket to Easy Street. It is that simple. And if that is too aggressive or too or too unreasonable for you, guess what, folks? The climate's collapsing. We have an economy of war. If you're on the left in this country, you have a 0 and 100 track record of losing. That means for a century, we fucking lost. If now's not a time to take the gloves off, I guess there's never a time.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. It's just, it's, people are just more tight. I mean, like, Biden just gave this speech on the infrastructure bill. And boy, if I just listen to that speech, I go, this is great. This is great. He's going to build, solar powered rail cars or wherever he's going to give everybody. This is great infrastructure. What's really in the bill? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but I can't trust that crap at all. It's a speech. It's not the actual language. It's not the actions. And politicians are so good at saying what we want to hear. And And Joe Biden is doing just enough to make all the vote any blue will do. People go, well, hey, at least he's better than Trump. Like, oh, God. I mean, a fucking, a drunk monkey with a gun is better than Trump. Like, come on. Like, that's not even a barometer. So it's just, yeah, I feel like more people are waking up. I definitely am seeing more people on social media, predominantly younger people, women, people of color who are like, no, sorry, Kamala, sorry, Joe Biden. Like, they're just calling them out. They're calling out AOC more, which is good. And I just hope that builds up because, when AOC runs, if a true lefty runs against her, everyone's going to scream, you're going to let the Republicans, the way to the People's Party is going to give a pathway for the Republic. Like they're going to do that crap or whatever. And I don't know when they're going to wake up, but we
need to end the two-party system, but let's do everything we can to make sure it never goes anywhere.
It never goes away. I don't like the two-party system, but I won't do anything to change it.
I won't do anything about it.
Now's not the time to change it.
Now's not the time. We've devolved to the point where our options for president was Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Everything that's wrong with politics in general in two people. Everything that's wrong. On one side, you have a plutocrat who's never been accountable for anything in his freaking life and was born with a silver spoon. His only task in his life, hey, this silver spoon that we just handed you, don't shove it up your ass. And he failed. He couldn't manage that. He shoved it up his ass multiple times and then fell into the presidency. You're welcome, USA. On the other side, you have a blank suit who's been playing the game for 40 plus years, been on the wrong side almost 100% of the time for 40 plus years, was so grossly unpopular, never went anywhere. And then because of a rigged primary and because of a pandemic, failed into the presidency, failed his way into the freaking presidency.
Into it.
Like, he didn't win in election. Donald Trump beat Donald Trump. That's what happened. Donald Trump beat himself. And the GOP hates you so much. They knew, and they could have done it. If they would have given people an emergency UBI, Donald Trump would still be president. But they hate people so much. They were willing to risk the White House to not have to help you. And the Democrats hate you so much. They were willing to risk the White House to make sure a progressive never got anywhere near it.
Yep.
You don't just, you have a government who hates you. They hate you. They hate you. If you are not Wall Street, they hate you.
They hate your guts. And you have an allegiance to one of these teams. You think that my team's better than your team? That's just so puzzling to me. Like, it's just like, all right. I remember saying this about sports. Like, I like watching sports and it's fun, but like people getting mad and like fighting over a team. I go, you think those millionaires on the field give a shit about you? They don't. Look, they're fun to watch. They're amazing athletes. It's good entertainment, but they don't give a goddamn about you. No one gives a shit. Tom Brady doesn't care about you. LeBron James, they don't give a shit about you, man. Like, so you're going to get that mad? Like, you're fueling their whole careers. So they don't care. And times 100 with the Republicans and the Democrats. They don't care about you at all. I mean, they just don't. So it's like, it's totally insane. So let's hope that the Nithya Raman getting the socialists getting on the LA City Council and what Kshama Sawant has been doing, and now this, I forget the person's name who just won in Buffalo. Let's say that it's just people are just voting out the two-party system and voting in socialists and third-party people. Let's just hope it just starts happening.
And that's the beauty thing about local politics, man. And I'm not saying local politics is all sunshine and roses. It totally isn't. You have a bunch of real estate developers and scumbags that
police unions,
police unions. Oh yeah. So, but the one thing is there is more transparency in it. There just is, and there's a lot you can do. And a lot of these things, you're talking about the duopoly. So many local offices are non-partisan. So it's just all about the candidates themselves. It is better. Does it still have a ton of problems? Of course, but it is better. And it is like, you know, when you look at electoralism, that's the one place where I am less cynical is on the local level.
No, it's true. I mean, it's been, and it's a thing I've said on my show a million times. I sure you say it as well. As I go, actually, you know, local politics affects your daily life way more than the federal politics does. I mean, like all that daily life stuff, trash collection, street cleaning, school, parks, libraries, that's all local politics. That's not federal. That's all, you know, what the city council does is really affects your daily life far more than the federal government does for the most part. I mean, you know, the local tax is levied, how the, you know, that money gets distributed. Even when they do get federal money, that city councils and state governments decide where the money goes. So it's why I say, you know, get involved on a local level. And a lot of people are, because this is how you do it. You do ground up. You get socialists and People's Party and Greens and whoever else in these local governments. So then when somebody is running, when there's a People's Party, you know, person in Congress or running for the White House or whatever, they already got this foundation of people behind them to back up their legislation when they get in. So that's important, you know, and you know, a socialist mayor means you can start getting a socialist city council, which means you could get a socialist governor, which means you could get a socialist state, you know, Congress people and senators and state representatives. I mean, that's what that means for Buffalo and the state of New York. Maybe we can get you know, these shitheads like Cuomo, these corrupt sex creep assholes like Cuomo out of there and get somebody that's actually gives a damn about the people.
Man,
you know,
he really wanted to wait the clock out on that, and it freaking worked for him. It worked for him, and his brother helped him. God, they are such a freaking despicable family.
They're so awful.
They are the freaking worst. And you know what I'm most bummed out about is that my theory, I don't think it's going to happen at this point, and I'm disappointed. It's not often that I make bold predictions, but I did make one there. I said that the Cuomo brothers, Fredo and Elder Fredo, are going to switch jobs. They're just going to declare. Chris is just going to be governor. And then Andrew's just gonna be a CNN guy where he's just gonna be like, I'm not thinking about it. Don't be a turkey. And then Chris is gonna be like, I'll throw this punk ass bill down the stairs. And they were just gonna switch jobs.
And no one would notice.
No one would notice. They're both they have different jobs, both still assholes. All right, cool.
Both doing the other guy's job just as ineffectively.
Yeah, both totally unqualified. I mean, who? It's like they were just like, yeah, can you read a teleprompter? Yeah, we'll put you on the news. Why? Yeah. Well, you could do that. We'll let you do that. We'll just let you do that. Like you see, it's so funny. Like when you think about our news in the United States, where it's like every now and again, you might see someone on the TV and you think like, how the hell did they get that job? That's like everybody in our news. Like every single person. You're like, what? How did they like Chuck? Like who told Chuck Todd this is like a good gig for him? Well, the same person who told Brian Stelter he should be doing this shit. And the same, like it's just like
who hired?
I know it's remarkable.
It is remarkable. It is remarkable. When you see someone on YouTube that you don't like or agree with, you just go, well, that's YouTube. Anyone can do a show. Anyone can do it. But it kind of feels like anyone can just be on CNN. As long as you say the right bullshit that the oligarchs feed you to regurgitate, then you get that job.
Yeah, I mean, really, like if you have no problem regurgitating very dangerous bullshit, there was a statistic that came out today that the United States had the lowest percentage of media trust amidst citizens. We came in 46th out of 46 countries, by the way.
Yes.
We came in last. And then, which ironically enough, our press freedom ranking and press freedom indexes that are actually real. I use that qualifier because there's some out there where it's like the CIA is in charge of it and shit. But real press freedom indexes, we rank about 50th in the world. So it's interesting.
Better than 51, Ron.
That's right. And we should be lower, in my opinion, but we are about 50th.
We should be 100. We should be at the bottom. We should be below whatever just tin pot dictator third world country is out there. We should be below that.
That's about where we are at.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes. Well, all right. Let's do this segment. I know you got to go in a sec. But I want to do this segment. So I'll do it and then bring you in. All right. What happened?
Well, right now you're out of frame and I'm still here.
All right. Let me here, I'm gonna go to this. All right, I'll bring it. There we go. We did it. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante, bringing truth up there every day in every way that we possibly can, even with being demonetized by YouTube. We're in month 5 of being demonetized by YouTube. We've gotten a copyright strike for a video I released in July of 2020. Not making that up. So please support what we do at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. Also, Ron Placone and I are going to be having tour dates in September and October. We're going to be releasing those in the next couple weeks. So just keep checking back to grahamelwood.com. So I talk a lot on this show about the environment and climate collapse that is happening. So what just happened today, that building in Miami collapsed. As of right now, there's 1 person dead and 99 who are missing, and they're not quite sure what happened. Some local politician or maybe even an engineer said that the rising water has destabilized, and that could be part of the reason. Somebody said they saw cement cracking. So the actual reasons of that building collapsing in Miami, we don't know. We don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised because they're starting to move people to higher ground in Florida. And we're going to show you in a sec the map from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, I believe. Anyway, NOAA, government website. We'll get that in a sec. But here's what just happened in the Florida Keys, right? Faces a stark reality as the seas rise. So I've talked about rising seas. I've talked about how Florida might not be there in the year 2040. And this building collapse may or may not be contributed to that, but it's already starting. It's already starting. The Florida Keys is now acknowledging a previously unthinkable reality. It faces being overwhelmed by the rising seas, and not every home can be saved. They're already saying some of these homes we can't save. They're just saying it, right? So the Keys, for those of you who don't know, is a string of islands off of Florida that goes into the Caribbean, and they're going to be underwater. The city of Marathon officials agreed to push ahead with a plan to elevate streets throughout the Keys to keep them from perpetual flooding. So these kind of, like, while admitting they do not have money to do so. So you can't keep elevating streets and putting sandbags and having, like, we're already in Southern California. They just did a news story. There's a big high tides are coming, like a 7-foot high tide. And, in Long Beach and cities like that, they're putting extra sand by the beach. They do that in Santa Monica. And you can only do that so long if the sea levels keep rising, right? So the Keys, though, they're going to raise the streets. Get ready. You're going to have to be evacuated. At some point, they're going to say, this is inhabitable, or we don't have the money. If the funding isn't found, the Keys will become one of the first places in the U.S., and certainly not the last, to inform residents that certain areas will have to be surrendered to the oncoming tides. That's going to happen. Even if you raise the streets and everything else, that's only going to last so long. That's only going to last so long. Human-caused global heating means an extra 17 inches of sea level rise by 2040, according to the intermediate NOAA projection used by the county. Now, I'm going to show you this map in a second, but before I do that, I want to bring Ron Placone on the show to talk about this, because I know he covers it on his show. Ron, So I'm sure you saw what happened with the building in Miami today. Do we know what happened to that? It's tough to say. I hope they rescue people. I don't know. It seems pretty. They rescued one kid out of there. He's alive. It seems pretty grim. I don't know, but even if this wasn't directly related to rising sea levels, stuff like this is going to happen. I mean, when cities, especially low-lying areas like Florida, the water's just going to erode stuff. I mean, there's already now has become this thing in Florida where there's some like old little Havana and neighborhoods that are a little higher up. They're starting to come in and just gentrify them and move people out so that the rich white people can come in and take their land. And this is not, it's not going to just be Florida. And I'm going to show you everybody a map in a second of what this government website shows what's going to happen. But I mean, this is, you know, you and I both live by the water, and this flooding is only going to keep getting worse. And these solutions of, oh, we're going to raise the streets. It's like, you know, it's like somebody with a heroin problem and all their veins are like fried from shooting heroin. It's like, well, we need to find new veins. Or maybe they should start smoking heroin. It's like, I think stopping heroin is maybe the key that the key we're missing here. Like, so I mean, how do you see this?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, you know, I echo everything you just said. I know that as of our recording of this, and you know, we'll probably know more, you know, tomorrow. But you know, as of where we're at right now, I believe they've confirmed one person has died, and there's a lot of people unaccounted for. So, you know, that's very tragic. And I'm certainly hoping that, you know, as many people as possible are helped and obviously are okay. We don't know exactly if this is related to climate change. And the only reason I say that is because I don't want people to, you know, if they find out the cause and it's not directly related, I don't want people to be like, you climate hippies, you're saying it turns out. But yeah, I mean, I think it's very reasonable to say there's likely a chance there's a relationship here because, you know, as land is slowly sinking, which is what's going on, that puts strain on buildings. So, you know, can we say they're directly related? As of right now, we can't, and I'm not claiming they are.
No.
But, you know, of course we have to act and act boldly for so many reasons.
Yeah, yeah, we're not saying, oh, climate change collapsed that building. We're not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. But there are people who have said that with rising sea levels, they've noticed a couple of millimeters of sinking with the building. So because it looks like, you know, that the way that building, it was like side by side, and then this whole part just collapsed. Well, that would make sense if slowly it was doing this. If it was sinking like that, I'm exaggerating obviously with my hands, but like if it's slowly doing that, then the weight of this is going to collapse on it. That is a very plausible reality. And the building was built in the 80s. It wasn't like it was built in the 20s or something like that. So is this a contributor to it? It could be a number of factors, but if this is even part of it, and even if it isn't at all, this is still stuff like this there are going to be buildings collapsing because of rising sea levels. Like that's going to happen. And
well, hey man, look, I live in, you know, the San Pedro area of Los Angeles. There is a historic, I believe it's a historic landmark in my neighborhood called Sunken City. Guess how it got its name, folks? It used to be a neighborhood that fell in the freaking water, and you can see the debris of the building. So this happened. I want to say it was a long time ago. Like this happened. So it's like, yeah, these things can happen, and with, you know, accelerating climate change, it's going to happen more.
Well, yeah, and I want to show this map now. This is from the this is the sea level viewer from the NOAA. Okay, this is a government website. So if you go to coast.noaa.gov, this isn't like hippie Sierra Club, and you'll see here that I'm doing the arrow. These are all the areas that are highlighted by sea level rise. Okay. And right now it's at 0, and you can change this. So they said in that report from the Florida Keys that it's potentially going to go up in the next couple years, 10 to 20 years, 17 inches. Okay, that's a 1.5 feet. Let me just raise this up here. That's right about there. Let's get it just under 2 feet. So you'll see all of this, and as we go higher here, and there's Florida. So let me zoom in on that. This is all the coastline. So you can see right down here, that's the Keys. That's what they're talking about. That's underwater. These areas that are crossed like this, these are, first, the blue area is completely underwater. So as we get closer, we zoom in, look at this. All this coastline, the Keys completely underwater, South Florida underwater, the coastline underwater, and then these areas are like floodplains potential, right? All of that, Gainesville, Tampa, St. Pete, and then up into there's Mobile, Alabama. I mean, look, New Orleans, it's all underwater. All of this. And, again, this article is just about Florida, but let's go back up to the East Coast here, because 1/3 of the population is on the East Coast. So, okay, we got to evacuate the Florida Keys. What do we have to do if we have to evacuate, this is Atlantic City? What if we have to evacuate that? What if we have to evacuate Manhattan? Let's take a look at Manhattan. Manhattan has already had a bunch of flooding over the last 10 years.
I like how you picked out Atlantic City and then Manhattan. But like you started out with just like, what if we had to evacuate Atlantic City, the place that peaked over 30 years ago? There is a chance nobody lives there anymore. Well, okay, Manhattan, though. What about Manhattan? Oh, yeah, that's...
Look at that. Look at all this. So what do you do when a third of the population lives on the East Coast? So what do you do when you have to go Boston, New York, Philly, DC? I mean, these are massive, Baltimore, these are massive population centers. 1/3 of the population is on the East Coast. That's 100 million people. What do you do? Where are they going to go? Where are they going to live? What's going to happen with the schools and everything? And again, that's just the East Coast. The West Coast too is going to have, I mean, we're going to have to evacuate what? LA, San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, Portland. I mean, we're going to have to evacuate all these cities?
Pretty much all the cities.
I mean, and then you do vulnerability, and everything in red is vulnerable. You click the vulnerable. Look at all the West Coast. All vulnerable to a 2-foot rising tide. Even just a 1 foot. Look at all these red areas. These are all, red and brown is all vulnerable. And you come over here, same thing. Look again. Look at Florida. Look at the whole East Coast. This is tens of millions of people. All of these Gulf states, all the commerce and right? All the shipping that's done in and out of here. Look at the Northeast.
It's like most of Maine.
Most of Maine is vulnerable. So are we just going to take 100 million people and spread them out throughout the middle of the country?
That might be what it comes down to. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like it might come down to that, which is, I mean, hey, pretty much every scientist is recognizing the reality that within our lifetimes, we're going to be looking at a country we don't recognize.
Mm-hmm.
Like one day, like this will, and doesn't mean it'll be worse necessarily. I mean, it could be way worse. We don't know, but we're going to look at we're not going to recognize this place. It's going to be totally different. And yeah, it's like we might be telling our kids and grandkids what Miami was, what New Orleans was. And it's a heavy thing. And that's why, like, climate anxiety is a real thing now. That's a thing that exists, and justifiably so. And it's it's absolutely remarkable that we're still just doing the bare minimum, instead of just all hands on deck doing everything we can. And the timeline is really running out to where it's like we're going to reach a point of no return, and we're already seeing it. I mean, as of the recording of this, Seattle is about to have huge heat waves this weekend. It's going to
Portland
be
just hit
100 degrees, and
in
yeah,
Portland and Seattle. These 107 degrees in Portland, Oregon, it never breaks 80 degrees in the summer in the Pacific Northwest.
and
Never.
they're not meant to handle it. They're not
No.
built to handle that, and it's
what's
crazy, man.
What's Texas going to do? So we just saw how vulnerable their power grid is when they had the ice storms in March. And I said, when that happened in March, I go, well, Texas always has massive heat waves. It's the Southwest. It's going to have 100. What happens when Texas goes 100, 110, 120 degrees and the power grid goes down again? They didn't fix it. It's not like they fixed it since March.
Right.
Then
I
what?
mean, well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's going to go down in any extreme weather. So it's not just like, well, that was just fluke cold. Like, oh, no. In heat, it'll do that same thing. So, and yeah, Texas is no stranger to heat, sure, but when it gets even higher and higher and higher, yeah, what's going to happen next time it goes down?
Right. When the whole state is cranking air because it's 115 degrees, what's going to happen? And again, let's be clear here. I'm just showing you a map of the United States. So guess what? Every coastline everywhere in the world is going to have this flooding. It's not like it's only going to flood the Keys or something like that. It's going to flood every coastline. And people, human beings have been building cities on beaches and coastlines for shipping and for, hundreds of years. So where everyone's going to have to move inland, we're going to have climate refugees. We've already had this. We talked about this before. I mean, the Syrian civil war was not caused by climate change, but it was exacerbated by climate change because they had like a 4 or 5 year drought, which drove people from the rural areas into the cities. That exacerbated when the Civil War started. It made it worse. So what happens when, Omaha, Nebraska or whatever population, quintuples, and then there's food shortages or something? It's just going to be riot. I mean, like how's that going to shake out? I mean, what's going to happen? What happens when you have to evacuate part of San Diego? Where did they go? And people start coming into Arizona. Does Arizona lock its borders and say, we're done with you? Like, not our problem, California? What happens? I mean, if one of the islands of Hawaii gets underwater and they start flooding and they what do they do? Where do people go? Yeah. Like, and on down the list, we could do this with every coastal country, Central America, South America. I mean, is Japan just underwater and 40 million Japanese people got to just find other places to go? Like, what happens? What happens to Hong Kong? What happens to Singapore? I mean, Sydney, Australia. I mean, we could just keep doing this and keep doing like there's going to be.
We keep going. I mean, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in the EU? I mean, what's going to happen? Because I mean, all the coastal cities there, like are people just going to? Where are they going to go? Because they have, all these countries to choose from. They're actually in a better situation than most, but still, it's like, I mean, it's really going to shake things up all around the world.
What's the politics of that? So the UK, which is an island series of islands, they all just did Brexit. We don't need Europe. And then now their country's flooding and Europe's going to go, sorry, what are the politics of that? You said we could, you didn't want to be a part of the EU. Well, I don't know, build a bunch of rafts, not our problem. I mean, what's going to happen? And then wars are going to start over this shit. I mean, like, it's going to be.
They're already butting heads, man. And this actually goes into the industry in which you and I labor because, right now they're dealing with something over there because a lot of comedians and musicians and performers and actors and actresses, here in the United States, we have a pretty big country. Well, over there, they're used to working in Sweden and Norway and, countries that aren't just England or Scotland. And now there is no longer what's referred to as visa-free travel and working permits for performers in the UK and the EU. So it would be the equivalent. It would be like if Graham and I touring in the United States would need a visa to perform in Nevada or to perform on the East Coast. That's what they're going through right now in the UK. So for comedians, musicians who tour a lot, it ain't good. It's a nightmare, and they're trying to work it out. And, folks over there can speak to it a lot better than I can. But, the gist that I'm getting is, Boris Johnson in the UK is pointing fingers at the EU. The EU is pointing fingers at the UK, because this is one of those things where it's like, let's just work this out so you're not screwing over all these freaking people. You're not just screwing over all these people for literally no reason. Let's figure this out. And they're kind of blaming each other for it not being sorted. So, I mean, that's just one. And obviously, that's a small conflict in comparison to climate refugees.
Yeah, we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 billion. I forget the actual number, but it's in the neighborhood of about 1.5 to 2 billion people live along the coasts around the planet. So there's a lot of people that are going to need to move. And when a coastal town that has a big shipping port, like just about every port, every coastal city has, I mean, then what? Where you're just going to build a new shipping place? Like how's that going to work? Because a dock is an infrastructure,
right?
It's this big commerce infrastructure, right? And they pull off the things that they put on the trucks, and then that gets. I mean, that's how they do it all over the world. What are they going to do?
It'll just cripple that mode of shipping. And then it's like, so what, are we just going to use planes constantly? Well, that can't be good. I mean, yeah, it's overwhelming to think about, man. But I mean, just to try to insert a little bit of a positive, not to totally switch gears, but, you're mentioning port towns and port cities. I'll give a shout out to San Pedro, where I live. They were one of the ports that denied the Israeli weapons ships. That was a trend that started in Livorno, Italy, continued in South Africa. London did a thing as well. And then Northern California said no. So they went down to the Southern California, my neck of the woods, in Pedro. And Pedro said no too. And it was the unions that were really instrumental there around the world. So a little bit of an uplifting, gives you a little bit of faith in humanity situation there.
Now there's these little victories out there, and I think it's going to take acts like that on a climate crisis level. Like, we're not doing the fossil fuel anymore. We're done with that. We're just not doing that.
That's what it's going to take, man. And I think it's going to take a general strike too. It's going to take, like, we are shutting it down until, we actually have systemic solutions to address this catastrophe.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, time is running out, but it's not out. Like, there's still time to mitigate the effects of this. We're not going to, quote, prevent climate change. Climate change is here, but there's still time to act to mitigate, to handle it better. And we're doing at best, the bare minimum, at least in this country.
Oh, God. I mean,
worldwide, maybe it's a little less bleak, but in this country, the United States is doing the absolute bare minimum. When you see some of the stuff they're doing in places like Denmark and Norway and Sweden and places like that, there are some places where, well, that's encouraging, but that needs to happen everywhere. It can't just happen in a handful of countries.
Yeah,
it's weird that all those countries are a little less capitalistic too. It's odd. I'd argue there might be a correlation. Call me crazy.
That's hippie talk, Ron. You're all hopped up on patchouli oil. You can't think straight, Ron.
Well, according to Biden and some of this, I'm a domestic terrorist.
Yes.
If you don't like capitalism.
Yes, you're a domestic terrorist.
You're an extremist.
I mean, that's the other thing is like, and we talked about this during the Democratic primary. Joe Biden was, middle ground on climate policy, and we're going to get back on the Paris Accords and all this bullshit. That's like, man, it would have been great climate law back in 1982. Just fantastic. It's too late for this like incremental bullshit. We don't have time for incremental centrism. And Joe Biden passing this little cap and trade and raising gas mileage standards and everything. So this infrastructure bill, he's talking about more electric cars and stuff like that, and infrastructure for electric cars. And he loves trains. We all know that. He never shuts up about that. Great. I hope he builds high-speed rail, but it's going to take, I mean, that's great. Fantastic. We need bold global action, and America could be leading the way, but we won't be leading the way.
We won't. I mean, and that's so sad, but we'll be drug along kicking and screaming. We will be the petulant child who the rest of the world is going to drag along. And honestly, that's an optimistic take, because I'm saying, well, the rest of the world's going to step up.
Well, they are. I mean, more countries are. I mean, I was just watching Sky News, which is just basically very corporate British news, but even that news channel is like, we're dealing with the UK's climate plan. Like, it might be lip service, but at least they are taking more action. And you got countries like India that is choking on smog. That's like, we're banning gas cars. Like, we're not going to sell any more gas cars because by the year 2030 or 2035 or something like that. So that's bold. That's 1 billion people. And when they do that, that changes, because auto companies want to sell to a country that has 1 billion people in it and is an emerging economy, right? So if 1 billion people cannot and are not legally allowed to buy fossil fuel cars, that means car companies are going to want to really get in the green energy market, which is, you're starting to see it. And if China makes a law like that, which again, China's a centralized government, they can just go, nope, no more gas cars, done. And we're going to lead the world in electric cars, which they would probably love to do.
Totally. Well, and yeah, you are seeing even some of these Wall Street firms that are trying to say no more new investments in fossil fuels. Right. And they're not doing that because they give a hoot. They're doing that because they kind of see the writing on the wall that the profit incentive is going away.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, ExxonMobil has this commercial out. Well, we've tied, CEO executive salaries to, they'll get bonuses if they reduce carbon or some blah, blah, blah like that. I'm like, okay. But they're seeing the writing on the wall. If everyone's buying an electric car and countries are outlawing gas cars, they better get ahead of it, or they're all going to be out of jobs, which is maybe okay if since they're the ones that caused this. Well, I know you got to run, but thanks for being on the show for this segment. And where can people watch and follow you?
You can follow me and find me at Ron Placone on all socials. That's on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm at Ron Placone. I'm on TikTok. I don't really know what I'm doing on it, but I am on it. I'm at Ron Placone on that too.
I'm on TikTok too. Please, everybody go to my at Graham Elwood on TikTok. I just started doing it. Here's what I'm doing, Ron, and here's what I think you should do, because we obviously both have a lot of younger viewers who are on TikTok, and I needed it sort of show to me and explain to me. And my good friend, comedian James Monet, showed me, he goes, I thought TikTok was just like dancing, whatever. He goes, it's anything. And there's people putting politics on there.
Totally.
And so what I'm just starting to do to help expand my fan base and audience is I'm just taking little 2-3 minute clips of like the segment we just did. I'm just going to pull 2 minutes out of that and throw it on TikTok.
Throw it up there.
And I'm just going to post like one thing like that a day. I have one of my clips up there, and I interview I did at a Surfrider beach cleanup with the person from Surfrider on how to get involved. I'm just going to start doing that. Just putting little 2 minute, 3 minute, real simple. I literally just took my phone and recorded on my laptop. Like, I'm just making it as simple as possible. And then, so let's just both just do that. Put all of our politics up there to expand our fan base to a younger audience.
Yeah, man. I mean, I post stuff on there, but it's weird. Like, I'll post at a certain time and then I'll get like no views, and then I'll post at another random time and I'll get like a lot of views. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just another, platform to try to learn, but yeah. So yeah, but you can find me at Ron Placone, and you can find me ronplacone.com, where there's going to be tour dates listed very soon with tickets available. And so we will see you in your city very soon.
We start touring in September. We're doing September and October. We start the weekend of September 10th. So we'll be on the road. Get ready for it. All right, dude. Well, thanks for joining us, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Peace.
Later. Round Placone, everybody. Whoops. Let's go read. Great job at Flappers, Ron. Somebody wrote right on. Kate, our moderator, show Kate some love. Shave your knuckles for justice. The Teamsters are now going to do actions to help American workers organize. Ooh, that's good to hear. I like that. Way to go. That's what we need. Ilian Roth, man, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Boom, boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Was it 118 degrees in the Arctic the other day? Yeah. Bill Nye, the highest guy. What's up, Bill? Keep making Gotham great again. Graham, please sing the song Oceanfront Property by George Strait tonight. Okay. Kate, we have fog in Chicago regularly now. It used to be very rare. Interesting. Annabelle Corley, shave your knuckles for justice. Australia is a mini America. Our fires have shown that we are screwing up our unique ecosystem, not listening to the indigenous communities. It's the same in most of the world. Yes, unfortunately, Annabelle, you're right. I hope all is well for you down under. Can't wait to go back there. MHC, shave your knuckles for justice, Democratic Party. It's too soon for the United States to lead the way on climate change, but we are in the way. And those two have the word way in them, making them inarguably the same. So vote blue. Yeah, that's their campaign slogan. 118 degrees in the Arctic. Jamenta just put this in the Rock Fan chat. We have 403 people watching, 337 likes. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to Virginia. Yes, we're looking to set up a date in Richmond. The cities I know we're going to do shows are San Francisco. We're trying to lock down Sacramento. We had a venue and now there might be a scheduling problem. So we're trying to find another venue in Sacramento. We've got Tempe, Tucson, the East Coast. We've got New York, DC. Trying to lock down Philly. Trying to lock down Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, we got a lot of holds and or maybe, so we're trying to lock that all down. Yes, we will be at Cobb's in San Francisco. That is done. That we'll have a ticket link for that soon. No Denver, unfortunately. But we will be at Cobb's September 11th for an afternoon matinee show, 3:00. But Cobb's is love that club. Don't just eat more plants. Eat plants you grow. That's correct. Yeah, when I spent a summer in Oregon when I was in college, my mom used to live in Portland, and it was like perfect weather. It was like it never got above 80. It was 75, 80 degrees. It was like that for years. And now the last, I don't know, 5 years or so, Portland and Seattle are having these really hot summers. Oof. Fun fact, plants are delicious. Everything has a spiritual cause. Disease is the manifestation of spiritual problems in humanity. The planet is in a state of disease because we're tilting too far towards evil as a people. Yes. I'm in Oregon, 111 on Sunday. Jesus. Take the surf rider involvement. Great cause. Thank you. MHC, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Chicago sounds like the opposite of the San Francisco Bay Area as it was described in an earlier comment, with the Bay Area becoming known for frequent fog in the past, but having it rarely today. Yeah, that's the thing. It's you know, when it's like when it says climate change, it's because it's gonna like, you know, some areas are gonna like it's gonna shift, or you know, areas that like, you know, have drought, the droughts are going to get more severe. Areas that have flooding, the flooding is going to get more severe. Like it's just going to go in these crazy extremes. Oof, it's brutal. Annabelle Corley, making Gotham great again. Only 5% of Aussie vaccinated. America has done the vax program so well. Bravo, America. See, you can be great. Yes, we can. Yes. And all these poor countries that are not getting the vaccine, and people who think the vaccine is just designed for population control, why are they then denying the vaccine to poor countries? I mean, India, it's awful what's happened there. I mean, and people, you know, like they've run out of wood to cremate bodies with. So it's pretty gnarly. They're begging for it down there. They're begging for it. Food prices have gone up nearly 25%. That's correct. I miss homegrown veggies. We always had a garden growing up. Nice. As coin. Shave your knuckles for justice. Thoughts on John McAfee's suicide? I don't know enough about it, but it seems odd to me. I'll just say from what I've seen, it seems odd that he was being extradited, and he was pretty critical of the intelligence community. I believe he was a pro Assange guy, and then he just Epstein's himself in a, you know, with a paper t-shirt or whatever. Like it seems very, I don't know enough about it. Several people have emailed me stuff saying, Graham, you got to cover this. And I just need to do more research on the John McAfee thing to know what's going on, because it just seems very peculiar to me that we have another. So I want to do more. John McAfee had a two that said he wouldn't commit suicide. Yeah. It's odd. The McAfee thing, I was like, wait a minute. And I knew a little bit about the guy, but not a lot. And then I was like, wait, it seems sketchy. I'll tell you that. No matter what it is, it seems sketchy. It seems really sketchy. He either knows something that they don't want to come out or whatever. Wife and I started a mini garden and composter. Can't wait to taste the first homegrown veggies. That's the way to do it, maybe. Compost. If you got a backyard or even a patio and you can compost or something, even just a balcony in an apartment, and grow your own vegetables and do hydroponics or whatever, if you know, like there's a lot of ways to do it. It's awesome. You know, it is awesome. And composting is the way to go. So when you compost, you're saving water because you're not using a garbage disposal, and you don't need all this chemical fertilizers. Mother Nature had it all pretty figured out before the petrochemical fertilizers came on the scene in the 40s. Mother Nature all figured out. So yeah, you can do that. That's rad, Tom. McAfee's tattoo. Wow, so weird. We live in a very creepy world. 367 likes. Let's get that up to 400, everybody. Let's do it. That compost is the way perfect soil is made. Yep. Composting equals recycling plus rejuvenation. That's correct. Nice. Nice. What do we got here, kids? What do we got? Creepy Joe is still trending. Graham, do you know what happened with TYT's journalists? The ones they hired with money raised from donations? Good question. That place just seems just completely corrupt and done. I don't know. Maybe they spent it all on celebrity camel toe updates or whatever. I don't know. That place is just a joke. The place is a joke. Yeah, I did a video. I talked about it. I just wanted to expose TYT so we know how full of shit they are, and then we can all move on with our lives. Annabelle Corley, what's up, Annabelle? I am hoping to see the whales on their migration north in Byron Bay. That sounds awesome. The world is tough, so much pain, but then you see these magnificent creatures in the ocean, and it gives you hope. Yes, it does. That's why I love surfing. I love being in the ocean. And when you're in nature, you just feel better. You know, participate in a beach cleanup or do your own thing, garden, work with the soil, be in nature, whatever you got to do. It just makes, anytime I'm stressed or whatever, I just go out in nature. I feel better. You just automatically feel better. S-Coin. Did you read about the condo that collapsed in Miami? Yeah, we talked about that at the top of the show. We have crumbling infrastructure in the USA, but we can bomb poor brown people. Freedom, baby. Yeah, I know. How are we going to pay for this? You know, Biden's got this new, it's almost $1 trillion infrastructure bill. We'll see how what it actually goes for and how much of it just goes into Wall Street, you know? Yeah. TYT functions as a funnel for legitimate rage on the left and a vacuum for their money that might otherwise go to something worthwhile. Yeah, absolutely. You see that. Because you think, well, I should donate to TYT because they're they're getting the platform. They're 5 million people. They're going to really get the message out there. That's what you think. TYT is really leading the way. And they're more just like sheep herders, man. I wouldn't give them a penny. I'll give them money the same day I give the Democratic Party money. They're one and the same. They're just a digital MSNBC that just spews bullshit. Really, Aaron Matei is lying. They're smearing Aaron Matei now. They're smearing Julian Assange. They're smearing WikiLeaks. Really? Really, TYT? It's funny. WikiLeaks never did a celebrity camel toe segment. That's odd. I never saw that. I don't ever remember WikiLeaks, talking about Britney's coochie or wanting to have sex with the animals. You fucking creep, Cenk. You creep fuck. A fucking twisted weirdo. There's going to be some videos coming out of him having sex with an animal or something. They want to beef with Jimmy. All right, fine. But now you're taking Aaron Matei. That's when they really fucked up. And then smearing Jimmy and calling him a pervert or whatever. It's just like, they're such assholes. They would smear Mother Teresa. Ponyboy Cenk. All right, everybody. Buzzsaw Aaron Matei. Yeah, he's just no nonsense journalist. Aaron Matei is impressive. That's not normal. $393 likes. Let's get that up to 400. Come on, 7 more likes. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Come on, 5 more. 5 more. 5 more. 5 more. 5 more. 3 more. 3 more. 397. 397. 3 more likes. Hit the like button. 2 more likes. 398. 398. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Come on. 403. We did it. Right on, everybody. Congrats. Nice work. I only have one like to give, Graham. Thank you, Sean, for your 1 like to give. Woohoo! Oh, also, you can support the show at Venmo.com, and I will answer your questions. Some people's Venmo. Check that real quick. That was like a slog, and we'll get out of here. Boom, 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 boom. I really appreciate everybody's support, and especially on RockFan, that's been keeping us afloat. Losing the YouTube money has been really challenging, but we're still keeping the lights on. Andrew Raft, shave your knuckles for justice. Keep punching up. Thank you, Andrew. Ren Zerhusen, thanks for putting out great content. Let us know if you plan on going on the road. Keep it up. Yeah, as we said, Ron and I will be on the road in September and October. September 11th in San Francisco at Cobb's. That will probably be our first ticketing link that we will release because that's being done. We're locking that down. So our goal is to start releasing ticket links in the next week or two. So beginning of July at the latest, hopefully, and we'll just be putting them on elwood.com and ronlacone.com. So as we get them, we'll start putting them out there. But we're going to be out there, kids. We're going to be out there. Sam Farmer, boom, celebrity camel. Celebrity camel toe. Thank you. Linda Kenny, PV, boom. Thank you for supporting our show. Very much appreciated, everybody. Thank you for supporting us out the Vedbo. Out the Vedbo. Out the Vedbo. Vedbo. Annabelle Corley. What's up, Annabelle? Shave your knuckles for justice. Rotate them for truth. The other way, down under. The environment in which you live has a massive impact on your mental health. Also, the people you spend time with, toxic environment, and people get them. And also, so the people you spend time with, toxic environment and people, get them out of your life, and your world will change in an instant. Yes. Get toxicity out of your life. Toxic food, toxic physical environment, toxic air, toxic whatever, toxic people. It's good. You know, celebrity camel toe, get that out of your life. Bill Nye, the highest guy, please do oceanfront property as Granny Petrol. Oh, Bill Nye, you got it. We haven't done a Granny Petrol in a while. I think we're going to do Granny Petrol here in a second. Annabelle Corley. And remember, to laugh, it gets me through and keeps me young. Absolutely. I try to laugh every day. Everyone should install unblock if they use YouTube at all. Deny them that money. Nice. I don't know what that is. Gut health is very important for one's health. Absolutely. When I say toxic food, I just mean like crappy food, stuff with a bunch of preservatives and sugar and nonsense. Beverly Jensen, I turned 69 last week. Thank you, Beverly. Happy birthday. All right. Let's get ready for how do we get rid of Monsanto? They're the worst offenders of toxicity. I know it's why. Well, you're helping do it, Tom, by growing your own food and using a compost. You're helping. I say vote with your dollar. So that's one way to do it. Stop. It's hard. It's hard to not buy Monsanto's food because they're everywhere. But that's why you shop at an organic farmer's market, or you grow your own stuff, and that takes them out of they're not making money then. Oceanfront property is Granny Petrol. Let me bring that up here, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the Disney Hulu and ESPN Plus come to life on all your screen.
MHC, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Graham, I just sent you an email with the link to that Chink video. Let me know if for some reason it doesn't make it to you. No, I got it. I just got it. Thanks, brother. I'll make that a segment. Don't forget tomorrow, Government Secrets, 3:00 Pacific time. And then we got a lot of fun shows happening next week. We're getting Christy I back on the show next week to talk about Bitcoin manipulation, the infrastructure bill, the looming financial crisis, and housing collapse. We're going to talk to Christy I about that. We haven't heard her on the show in a while. Elizabeth Lee Voss, we haven't had her on the show in a while. She just did a new article on Mint Press News about sort of more information about the Finders cult. We had her on the show 2 years ago to talk about the Finders cult, which is creepy as shit. So it's great to have those two outstanding journalists back on our show next week. And then we'll do Anything Can Happen as well. All right, here comes Granny Petrol. Hello, Granny Petrol here to sing a lovely song. All this fuss about climate change and rising sea levels. Well, maybe the sea levels wouldn't rise so much if Greta wouldn't be running around in her crazy boat making all those waves. If she wasn't on some hippie boat avoiding going to school, maybe we wouldn't have sea levels rising. So I'm going to sing this song in honor of all the crazy hysteria that we know isn't true because we know science. But Greta, science says oceans aren't rising. Land is just taking a bath. That's the way to do it. Well, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen.
T-Mobile is the leader.
T-Mobile is the leader
Also
in
believe in putting people
5G,
first,
blowing
not
up the environment and murdering people for money. Annabelle Corley, Granny's oil slip and slide on the shipping network, on the shopping network, ocean that doesn't move background. Thank you, Annabelle. Thank you, everybody, for supporting our show. Thanks to Ron Placone. Thank you to Kate, our moderator. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Of course, this live stream, as soon as I shut it down, I put it behind the paywall at the Rockfin Premium and at patreon.com. So if you missed it and want to watch the whole thing, what we just talked about, you can do the $10 level at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or be a Rockfin Premium member and endorse my Rockfin channel, which is rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, and keep checking back at GrahamElwood.com. There's merchandise. We're going to have tour dates up there soon, and we will have special tour shirts, the post-pandemic comedy tour shirts with Graham and Ron, and we're going to put tour dates on the back. We're going to get that all set for it, and you can only be able to buy those at the live shows. And the karaoke playlist can only be seen on Rockfin as well. Government Secrets tomorrow, 3:00 Pacific time, ladies and gentlemen. And then Monday is also the Rockfin Premium, Graham's Late Night Crypto Lounge. Monday's at 8:00 Pacific time, 11:00 Eastern. And yes, I think we've got Christy I show July 1st. Next Thursday, I think we're going to do Elizabeth Lee Voss Tuesday the 29th. And Christy I is doing July 1st. We're going to do that show at 4:00 July 1st, and then we'll do the game show at 7. Going to be an action-packed Thursday. Lately, I've been taking Wednesdays off, and I like it. All right, everybody. Follow the money, connect the dots. That's where you get the truth. That's how you're going to make Gotham great again. Vote with your dollars. Get involved in local election politics. Grow your own food. Anything to get out of their corrupt system. Move your money to a credit union. Do your own research, and if investing in crypto and specifically Bitcoin, do that. Get out of debt. Grow your own, get out of their fucking corrupt system. Support farmers, support Monsanto when you can. Anyway, a lot of great ways to stick it to them. And thank you for coming to the show and thinking for yourself. You're all political vigilantes. Shave your knuckles for justice. Go, go, go.